Okay, so hello everyone. I'm just gonna come on for a little chat and a channeling. And I just want to share three things: a bit about the Course in Miracles, talking about the end of the world, and also just a little bit talking a little bit about writing music, and just two things. There you go. Okay, so the first, I'll start out with the Course in Miracles, and so. I'm in the Manual for Teachers at the end, and the question, chapter 14, is, how will the world end? And so I just picked up some nuggets from it, some really nice portions of it. I recommend reading the whole passage, but it's a bit long, so I won't read it here, but it's all free online. If you look up A Course in Miracles, you can read it online. Manual for Teachers, chapter 14, page 36. Okay, so this is just some of the parts I picked up. So, how will the world end? Can what has no beginning really end? The world will end in an illusion as it began. Yet will its ending be an illusion of mercy, the illusion of forgiveness, complete, excluding no one. Limitless in gentleness will cover it, hiding all evil, concealing all sin, and ending guilt forever. So, yeah, I thought that was great. Good answer to that question. And then another, the father of illusions is the belief that they have a purpose and that they serve a need or gratify a want. Perceived as purposeless, they are no longer seen. Their uselessness is recognized and they are gone. How but in this way are all illusions ended? They have been brought to truth, and truth saw them not. It merely overlooked the meaninglessness. Right? So, yeah. The world that we live in is an illusion, and we believe in these illusions, and we think that they have a purpose. And while they do, the purpose for us here is to learn from those illusions. But once we learn that they are illusions, and we have learned our lessons, then there's no real need for it anymore. And then until forgiveness is complete, the world does have a purpose. It becomes the home in which forgiveness is born and where it grows and becomes stronger and more all-embracing. Okay, so yeah, the purpose is forgiveness. Once we learn to forgive everything. Now, forgiveness itself is not part of God, but is the closest thing, according to A Course in Miracles, this is the closest thing to what God is in this dimension that we're living in, forgiveness. What else? There's a few other things that I picked up, but to turn hell into heaven is the function of God's teachers, for what they teach are lessons in which heaven is reflected. So yeah, so that just, I wanted to read that part. How will the world end? And it will end when we have no meaning for it, no use for it anymore, once we've learned to forgive everything. And what a great way to end. Another thing I just wanted to talk about, there was one other thing. Recently I've been starting writing music again. I'm writing a string quartet. I mean, I've always been writing music the past few years. I've been getting like some commissions to write pieces and stuff, but it's never been, before it was like my life. I was so passionate about it. But now it's just, oh, okay, I'll write a piece. And it was kind of hard to write the pieces, and it wasn't as joyful. I think when I discovered channeling, I found that to be so much more intriguing and interesting than the discovery of writing music. But recently I found that I think there was meaning in the madness. A few years ago I got really sick, and it was actually right before the whole stuff that's going on around, what was it, 2019 or 20, yeah, in January. And so I think I was like a pioneer. I got one of the first cases. But whatever it was, after I had that sickness, I didn't want to write music anymore. It was a very sudden thing, 3 days of sickness, and then I felt no more passion. I didn't feel any passion for writing music, and then I started channeling. And I didn't know what would happen. I felt almost like I was a walk-in, that, something that I felt so passionate about since I was 14, and that I did every day, for hours every day. And if I didn't do it, I felt like I was, not doing something. I wasn't, myself. And then to one day just realize, I don't have any interest in it anymore, was quite a shock for me. And so these past few years, I've been writing music. People have been commissioning, as I said, but not as much. But just recently, I got this commission to write a string quartet, and I found a way to incorporate the channeling into it. So it's actually I'm finding it more interesting and exciting rather than my old process, which was the process of, I guess, a 3D process, more Beethoven style, where you just bang your head up against the wall and, da 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 da, what's the next one? Da 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 da, this kind of like, you can imagine Beethoven just struggling to write. Or Mozart, for example, he was just, he'd be playing pool and writing. That's one of the stories. He'd like shoot pool and then he'd write a little bit of a symphony and then shoot pool. So I'm kind of thinking of more of a Mozart style where it's more incorporated in my lifestyle. And also, so I've been using channeling to see the concert. So I've been going to the concert of this piece that I'm writing in the future. So I'm traveling to the future and going to see this concert and seeing my piece. And I'm thinking, oh, okay, that's how it goes. Okay, and then I sketch it out. And maybe it's not a perfect sketch, but I get the general idea of the concert or of the music. And that is actually making it more fun and really interesting. So I think everything happens for a reason, and we are being guided. I was guided to stop composing for a while and to put more focus into channeling. And I think now they're kind of coming together again, which, I think I'm kind of happy about it. It's nice that they can kind of get along, channeling and composing. And the third thing I wanted to say, I think I've talked about this a lot, but I was talking about it with some friends today, and I think it's really important. So the idea of the yin and the yang symbol, right? The yin and the yang, the white and the white part and the black part. And in the black part, there's a little white dot, and in the white part, there's a little, in the white part, there's a black dot. In the black part, there's a little white dot. So there's a little bit of both in both sides. And so, I'm just thinking of this, there are some people that I really loved. Like, I was a huge Bob Dylan fan. I still am. I love Bob Dylan. And there's a possibility that he's not completely, so he might be working on the opposite side of the yin and yang. And when I first found out about this, it really kind of shocked me. And it was really surprising because, like, he gave me a lot of hope growing up. His music always gave me a lot of hope. But then to find out that there's a possibility that he might be working on the other side was kind of shocking. But in the end, what you realize is that we are all playing roles on this planet, and we're all doing different things. And the hope, for example, that he gave me, I still have, and I can still listen to his music and get that hope. It's not like, oh, well, he's not, I don't have to completely just write him off. I still get that hope from him. So in the darkness, there's light. In the light, there's darkness. And so that's the balance that we're living under. And I don't know what his story is, but I think, in a sense, that is the concept of A Course in Miracles, of forgiveness and truly understanding that we don't know what everything is for. And how could I judge? And how could I, and the hope that I got was real. And so, it is kind of a complicated thing. It took me a while to get over that. It's not complicated, but it's just something that, it's complicated feeling-wise. Logically, it just, it works. But in your heart, it takes a while to come to terms with it. But once you do, you realize that, we're all in this together. We're all playing our roles on different sides of the yin and yang. But you can get hope from places that you wouldn't expect. And so, we don't know what anything is for. So that's a Course in Miracles lesson. So how could we judge it? I don't know what the point of that all is for, but we understand that the point of everything is for us. It's for us to learn. It's a lesson for us to learn. And so that was a very wonderful lesson to learn for me. Okay, so that's my spiel. And all right, so I'll call in my guides and see who comes through. We are Tiamat, and we are here, and we are here to speak for you, and speak with you, and speak around you. And as always, well, let me introduce myself. We are a dragon collective, you might say. I am Tiamat. I represent this collective, and I was working on the other side. I was working on what you might say, as this channel is saying, on the other side, on the darker side. And then I came over. I saw this being's light, and it woke something up in me, and I decided to come to the light. And now I am working with this being and through this being, and we're writing a book together. I'm trying to express many ideas about the dragons and our history and where we come from, and So that is an introduction. That is who I am. I am Tiamat, and I've been working with this being for we would say almost a year now. And today what we'd like to bring through is just a message of love and of light and of peace and of a knowing that you all have this light inside of you that is shining so bright, and that this light that is shining in you is a lighthouse. It's not just a lighthouse for the people around you, for other people. It's a lighthouse also for those that are working on the dark. They see that light, and it reminds them of who they truly are, and it turns on a light somewhere inside of them. So your light is so powerful. It's shining, and it is so powerful. The dark really doesn't have that much power. When exposed to the light, it disappears. And that your light is a lighthouse. And we would just ask you all to not cover your light, but to shine it out, to shine it as bright as you can, and to realize how powerful your light is, because it is shining the light into the darkness. And all of you, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, you have this beautiful light, this incandescent light that's just spreading out into the universe and spreading out into everywhere, all of the darkness. And so many people on the other side, so many beings on the other side are seeing this light, and it is waking them up. It is slowly waking up so many people. So shine your light. That is your superpower. Of course, you have many superpowers, but that is one of your superpowers, your light. Your light is so powerful, and it is shining so bright now. All right, guys. Before I go, one thing that I just remembered. I was reading this. There's a Japanese channeler, and he was channeling, or I think either he was channeling or hypnotizing someone, and the person started talking about, this is really interesting. I'd never heard this anywhere before, but somehow this person so the story is this person has this like light on his head somehow, and on the planet now, sometimes what happens is time starts to loop. If there's a traumatic event that happens, then time loops, and it loops around and around, and people get stuck in that loop. So a traumatic event, for example, like a world war, a nuclear bomb, or whatever it is. So the traumatic event starts time looping, and then people get stuck in that loop, and spirits get stuck in that loop, and then they just get, they get stuck in this darkness. And so what this guy was sent to do from another planet, what he was sent to be kind of on the ground and working here. And so just the light that he has this light about him, and then the people that are in those time loops, they see that light, and it wakes them up, and they follow his light out of the time loop. And I thought it was really interesting. So this guy, I don't know what he does, but the guy that was being hypnotized, I don't know what he does, but somehow his job takes him all over the world, and he usually visits these sites like where there were wars, different places like in Germany or different places like that. And every time he goes, he just frees like all of these trapped souls. And that is something that I found that I might be doing in the future, and I have been doing just to a small extent recently. And it was just really cool to find that there's someone else. I'm sure there's many of you out there that are doing it. If there are, please tell me, because We have to build that community. But yeah, all right. I just wanted to share that. I thought it was really cool. I'll put a link to it. It's in Japanese, but you can use a translation software to translate it if you like. All right.